What do you feel are kind of the main obstacles to a good classroom climate?
I think sometimes teachers become a little jaded over time. They get tired of, oh my gosh, it's the same thing again and again. So that there's a frustration and an attitude change. It's hard to stay positive 180 days a year for 30 or 35 years. But good teachers do that. Sometimes it's a lack of experience. There are different situations or scenarios that come in. You have students who now bring in different kinds of issues than we've seen in the past, whether it's a drug-related issue or some depression or other things that cause them to be, literally not themselves. And so, you have to continue to understand how to deal with that. Here at Kimberly, we have more students this year that have autism issues, and that's, again, you need to understand how that student functions and how they're going to interact with other students as well, because it's important how the students react to them. That's going to create a good climate for learning for everybody. And sometimes I think it's just poor planning or poor preparation on the part of the teacher. If you come in and you don't have a good plan for the day and clear expectations for what you want your students to learn and be able to do, they're going to see you as disorganized or disenfranchised, and as a result, not positive about their learning, so they're probably not going to be positive about their learning as well.
But I would say that the biggest thing for me this year has to do with my students' needs this year. I have several students with special needs, and they're pretty high-level needs. I have a couple of students who are in the process of being referred for special needs, so it absolutely affects the rest of the classroom climate, and I feel like it's an ongoing struggle every day to just try to keep things on task and where we need to be without getting distracted and totally sidetracked. So that's certainly not the case every year. I've been teaching for 11 years, and I'd say this is the year that I'm really feeling it. But I'd say that if I had to name one thing that really this year affects my classroom climate, it would absolutely be the students' needs.
And another thing that does affect the climate in the class is interruptions. But the children the students are used to that, because the type of environment we have in the classrooms, we are constantly interrupted by telephones, or students leaving for specials or observations, teachers coming in to observe, or administrators coming in, or just parents coming in to see what the classroom is like. So there are interruptions 24/7. But
obstacles are probably, for us, it depends on the students. If you have a lot of students with a lot of needs, to get those connections, I think class size has to be small enough where you have the time, or having two teachers, so you can get around to all students and make sure you make that personal connection with all students.
We do have the luxury of team teaching, and so there are two of us in here, and our class sizes are usually around 24 students, which is quite luxurious, actually, to be able to make connections with kids. So that is a big benefit. But to a new teacher or somebody coming into the field, I just would really reiterate the idea that it's important, and do it up front. Establish mutually agreed upon expectations about what you expect and what they can expect from you, and take the time each day to nurture those relationships, and to also reevaluate. Maybe some of your expectations have changed, and it's okay to say, hey, I feel like something's not really working out here, and being honest with your students. This isn't working, so what's going on? It's all worth it, and it pays off in their learning.
I think other obstacles can be during the course of a class of complacency. Sometimes, teaching, I think at times there can be a pretty easy path for teaching,
Right.
And in the days before a Christmas break, or in the dog days as we are in right now, towards the end of the school year, it's human nature to sometimes take the easiest path. And I think an obstacle can you continually attempt to re-energize yourself to get up and fight that next fight, that next block.
Because we expect it of our students.
We expect it of our students.
in your teaching?
Yeah, one of the hardest things that I've found is that, especially on our department, we deal with people who have no experience and then people with lots of experience, up to 20, 25 years of experience in EMS. And so you have to kind of balance your instruction between people who are newer to the field and people who have that experience. One of the best things that you can do for adult learning is drawing off of those people that have more experience and allowing them to be a part of the learning process and teaching process as well. So as an instructor, you're not so much the instructor or the one presenting the information as you are just kind of facilitating the learning and allowing for people to learn off of each other. I think that's really helpful too, even as an instructor, because then I'm always learning from them as well, which then every day I'm not teaching, I'm also getting information back. One of the more difficult things about that is that you can have a tendency to have people who are very opinionated, who maybe present material in a certain way that you don't agree with, and people can run off on tangents when you're allowing them to be a part of the teaching process as well. So as that facilitator of learning, you have to bring everybody back to the goals and objectives of what you've set for the classroom.